Karen Davenport, the Director of Health Policy at the National Women's Law Center, NWLC.org, is on the line. She's at the Radio Row at Families USA, right across the street from the U.S. Supreme Court. And Karen, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Tom. Great to be with you.
Great to have you. It's nice talking with you on television the other day, and it's great to have you here with us on the radio. So tell me, what is the buzz there at the Radio Row among the cognoscenti, among the folks who are in the know about what just happened across the street at the Supreme Court?
Well, I think people are relieved it's over and pretty happy with the questioning and how it developed. I think particularly Justice Kennedy's questions about, how the plaintiff's interpretation of the law, whether that would be constitutional or not, because the precedent for the Supreme Court is that if possible interpretation is unconstitutional, then you lean towards the constitutional way to look at something.
Yeah.
So I think people were pretty psyched about that.
What you work with the National Women's Law Center. What would the impact on women be if King v. Burwell was decided in favor of the Competitive Enterprise Institute, this right-wing Koch brothers funded think tank that brought this case?
Right. It were decided the wrong way.
Correct.
So it would be, we estimate that 7 million women would lose their eligibility for tax credits and would not be able to buy health insurance in the states where federally the federal government manages those marketplaces. Mm-hmm. That's really only the tip of the iceberg, because what will happen after that, and there was discussion about this at the court this morning, is you would see a premium spiral, given a death spiral in those marketplaces for the people who are left, because so much of the people who enroll would lose their coverage, and that you'd really see huge pressure on the other reforms of the Affordable Care Act that are so important to women, so that insurers have to sell to everybody. They can't deny women coverage because they've had a cesarean section in the past, or because they've been a victim of domestic violence in the past. They can't charge women more than men for the same coverage like they used to do so. And, we already see other conservative groups coming out right now saying, well, if the court decides for the plaintiffs, those other reforms have to go too. So, it would be a bad scenario for women should the case go the wrong way.
Yeah. There are other policy issues that influence women that are at the top of the national political boil right now. Scott Walker, for example, after insisting when he was running for re-election as governor that he had no interest in trying to tighten abortion restrictions in that state, is now pushing for a ban on abortions after 20 weeks. When does this war on women stop?
That's a great question that I wish I could answer. It seems like it goes on and on. He's not the only one in terms of a 20-week ban on abortions. We're likely to see another case before the Supreme Court next year about birth control and which employers have to cover it under the law. So, I don't really see an end in sight at the moment, at least not in terms of women's health care.
Wow. What are the other things that we should be looking at around the country, Karen Davenport, with regard to how the law affects women? We have equal pay issues. We have health care access issues. Nobody's addressing this right now, but it seems like we should be talking about parity in power, not just in the workplace, but in the political marketplace. Norway, for example, requires at least 40% of their legislature be female. What are the things that we should be talking about, noticing, and where do you see these things going?
Well, I think so many issues are part of an economic agenda for women, whether it is around women's employment opportunities, education opportunities. We have so much discussion right now about sexual assaults on campus, and of course, what that ends up meaning in terms of a woman's academic career. Some of the other issues around, help for childcare. We have the administration putting a lot of support into early childhood education right now. I don't know how likely it is that the Congress will take that up, but all of those pieces are important to women and their economic opportunity and that of their families as well. Something else that doesn't immediately make people think about women, but the Children's Health Insurance Program is up for refunding this year, and that's really critical to women and their families as well. So there's a lot of pieces that come into play.
Yeah, that's the CHIP program, right?
That's right. That's right.
Children's Health Insurance, CHIP. I don't know how it is that, George W. Bush can name a piece of legislation that's going to increase the amount of pollution in the air, the Clear Skies Initiative. But when Democrats come up with a really good bill that helps women and children, the children's health in families and
right,
their kids,
right.
The Children's Health Insurance Program, they name it after something that I think reminds people of cow patties. Don't step on the chips when you cross the pasture. They really need to rebrand this thing when it comes up for refunding. Call it the Saving Our Children Fund or something.
Well, I think we should get to work on a better name for it. That's a great idea.
No child let go sick or something. I don't know. We have just a minute left before the break. We're talking with Karen Davenport, the Director of Health Policy at the National Women's Law Center. What is at the top of NWLC.org's agenda right now?
Well, certainly making sure that the Affordable Care Act continues to provide coverage to millions of women and men across the country is way up on the top of our list. I think also enforcing some of the other parts of the law in terms of prohibiting discrimination against women in health care. That is really important to us as well. And the work around childcare and early childhood education is another key issue for us. So, for people who want to get involved in women's issues and women's rights, there's a lot of work to do. And we are awaiting the Supreme Court's decision in the Peggy Young case, which is about she was a pregnant worker who faced some discrimination too.
Yeah. The multiple layers of stuff here. Karen Davenport, Director of Health Policy of the National Women's Law Center, the website nwlc.org. Karen, great to see you. Thanks so much for dropping by.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Great
Take
talking
care.
to you.